This is News Hour Live on GBC News and GTV. We are also streaming live on Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. My name is Winifred Efum. Let's now settle for the details of the news. An upbeat President Akufo-Addo says Ghana's economy is on the rebound from the devastating effects of COVID-19 when he inaugurated Nestle Ghana's expanded infant cereals plant at Tema. And Akufo-Addo said the 174.5 million Ghana cedis investment plan and many others should send signals to the investor community that the economy remains resilient and investments will thrive. It's been 45 years since Nestle Ghana started the production of its famous brand Cerelac, primarily for infants. Today, Nestle Ghana has expanded the production plant of cereals to 6,700 tons per annum. Nestle Ghana says it has invested 174.5 million Ghana cedis in the plant, which produces for the West and Central Africa region with the installation of 4 different equipment: the raw material equipment, work process equipment, roller dryer equipment, and the finished equipment. The managing director of Nestle Ghana, Mr. Giorgio Baradu, said with the new expanded plant, Nestle can now meet the demand for its infant products in West and Central Africa.
Today, our factory exports to as many as 23 countries in Africa and 5 in Europe. This investment will not only help our business in Ghana, but will transform this factory into an export hub for the Cerelac business in Africa. Our production growth over time will give more and more opportunities to our farmers to sell the local produce.
The Minister for Trade and Industry, Mr. Alan Chemante, said this plant falls in line with the government's industrialization agenda, which will make Ghana self-reliant.
The new cereals manufacturing plant we are commissioning today is not only going to provide direct employment for over 800 people, which will improve their livelihoods and that of their dependents, but will also go a long way to boost the government's strategic efforts aimed at import substitution, especially in sectors where there is local capacity for value addition.
The President, Akufo-Addo, highlighted the importance of such facilities in Ghana's drive to be independent in food production and self-reliant. He said this is a sign that Ghana is picking up from the effects of COVID-19.
The commissioning of this 175 million cedi state-of-the-art plant to manufacture infant cereals for the domestic market by expanding the factory's capacity by 6,900 metric tons, as well as for 22 markets in other countries in Central and West Africa, is a timely investment. The investment by a major multinational company does not only underscore the confidence that Nestle and its shareholders have in the Ghanaian economy, but it is also a signal to the global business community that the Ghanaian economy is recovering to its pre-COVID-19 levels.
The 7,700 capacity plant is expected to create an additional 800 direct jobs to Ghanaians. Let's now turn attention to Parliament, and the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health is calling on government to cease capping the revenues of regulatory agencies under the Ministry of Health, especially the Medical and Dental Council, to enable it to carry out its mandate effectively. At a crunch meeting in Accra, the committee realized that the failure of the Medical and Dental Council to stem the trend of quack doctors in medical practice is due to the absence of regional officers and resources to monitor the situation.
The issue of capping. Whatever activities that needs to be undertaken, if you don't have money, you cannot do that activity. You know, I think that it doesn't make sense one bit. Institutions that government must rather invest in, that government must rather pump money in, then government is siphonning money from those institutions. I don't think it makes sense at all. Let's say it as it is. So this capping issue doesn't make sense. And so I am happy to hear from my chairman that this time round we are going to go always out to fight this capping issue in the health sector.
What we are saying is that under the current activities ahead of the Medical and Dental Council, housemen, assessment, a lot of quack doctors, they are not able to track because of lack of financial resources. Maybe in the past it would have been good, but for now they are so much limited, there are a lot of things to do. So this is about time that we allow them to be able to have their resources. Also, we allow them to take care of their compensation, because if you don't want government to cap you, then it is to say that, okay, take care of your salaries yourself with what you retain, then government will take away what it is supposed to use to pay you. So there's a trade-off. Then they have a certain space to spend their resources. Then Parliament will keep a strong or eagle eye on them to make sure that the funds are applied judiciously. So that is what we intend to achieve through engagements and our quest to sponsor a private member motion for this decapping of one or two regulatory agencies. The Pharmacy Council is also part, the Nurse and Midwifery Council is also part.
The Ghana Health Service says it has recorded 5 cases of monkeypox in Greater Accra, Eastern and Western regions. A virologist, Dr. Michael Owusu, on GBC Breakfast explained the causes and preventive measures to curb the spread of the disease.
If you look at the IDSR policy, the Integrated Disease Response, if you have even one case of monkeypox, you term it as an outbreak, because it's not something that we used to know. It is a new, and especially when this has assumed community transmission. Initially, we are saying it's from animal to human, but those who are getting it, I can tell you, some may not have interacted with any animal.
Okay.
Some may not, which means what it means is that it has now gotten to the level where it is circulating in the community and people can transmit to other people.
So it's an outbreak now. It's an outbreak in Ghana now. Is that correct?
Yes. We turn it as an outbreak because of the new findings we are seeing.
How do we protect ourselves?
Yeah, so protecting yourself, fortunately in Ghana, COVID has given us an opportunity to at least know and understand the basic things we need to do in terms of infection prevention control measures. The first thing is that the use of alcohol sanitizers is very crucial. It can destroy the virus just as it does for COVID-19. So sanitizers are very important. When you shake, you are not supposed to contact, but assuming you touch something else, you have to sanitize your hands. Use of mask is very important because, as I mentioned, it can be transmitted through the respiratory droplets from the mouth. So we have to resort back to strict use of mask. The washing of hands with the bucket and soap and water is very important.
Right.
We have to resort to this. And then, some of the basic things that we have learned through COVID works very well also again. And when you observe people are having, their fatigue, have fever, and have sores in their mouth, quickly you have to call that they are isolated. And call the health authorities to observe them and possibly also follow their contact and then advise them to also observe themselves so that those who are infected will not transmit to other people. And especially for pregnant women, you need to advise them to be very careful to take their hygiene so that they are not overly exposed.
When you say face-to-face contact, what does that mean? That means people shouldn't be kissing?
Of course. Kissing can transmit. So because the viruses, the source you see on the body also can appear within the mouth, the mucous membrane of the mouth. And these are the most infectious part of the virus. So if you kiss, you transmit this. You just give it to you. It's the fastest route of transmission.
We stay a while longer on this situation because monkeypox is a viral zoonosis, that is a virus transmitted to humans from animals. The symptoms are similar to those seen in the past in smallpox. 5 cases of the disease have been recorded in the country so far. We will now bring you some tidbits on symptoms, prevention and management of monkeypox. polio vaccines are reportedly in short supply nationwide and especially in the northern part of the country. The shortage comes at a time when the northern region has discovered polio virus in some drains in Kobli Magu in the Tamale metropolis and Nyashegu in the Sagnarigu municipality. Our northern regional correspondent, Mutala Issa, has visited some health facilities in the region to find out more about the polio vaccine shortage and has joined us online to tell us more. Hello, Mutala. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
This is not a good news, but what more can you tell us?
So we contacted a parent who informed us that she was at the Moshizongo Health Center last week to take the polio vaccine following the normal weigh-in with her child. Unfortunately, she was told that they didn't have the vaccine. So following this information, we probed further, and officials at the facility told us that they have had polio vaccine shortage since the latter part of the month of May. And so after that, we also cross-checked with other facilities in the Tamale metropolis, the Sanadagu municipality, the Savannah region, and the Northeast region, and they've all confirmed that indeed they do not even have the polio vaccine. At the Bole Health Center, we also discovered that until last week, they also did not have measles, but staff in that facility told us that just last week they received the measles vaccine. So that is in place now, but polio is still zero.
And so what is the Ghana Health Service saying, and what contingency plans are being put in place in the absence of the vaccines now?
Well, they are all looking up to the center, that is Accra, for support. I am told that this is a nationwide issue, and so my thinking is that usually in situations like this, UNICEF, WHO, and other UN collaborating bodies, the Ghana Health Service, would come together to find a solution to this. It is of critical importance for us here in the northern region because you rightly mentioned that the Noguchi Memorial Center has discovered some polio viruses in drains within the Tamale metropolis, and these are drains in which children play around. When we spoke with Dr. Hilarius when this news came out a couple of weeks back, he expressed concern that there were some children in the metropolis who might need the polio vaccine. As we speak, because of this shortage, I am not too sure what is the fate of these children.
So then, if I understand you, then there has not been any official response from the Ghana Health Service. Is that what you are saying?
I have not had any information from the Ghana Health Service.
Right, Mutala, please keep your ears on the ground. We'll come back to you in our subsequent bulletins when you have more to report. And that was my colleague Mutala Issa from the northern region. Let's go to the eastern region now. Come Friday, June 10, the country's ambitious 20 million tree planting exercise kicks into motion, spurring on her climate change fight. Climate watchers want government to be innovative and apply tree monitoring technologies to track the state of the trees and support her mitigation and adaptation agenda. Improved access to information on trees planted is a guide to proper forest management and enable implementers act faster in response to changes within the ecosystem. Clara Mrano has this report.
1 year ago, Ghanaians and interest groups rallied behind the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to plant 5 million trees as part of their afforestation drive. The planting was carried out not only as a stopgap measure against climate change, but as a source of livelihood and income from the economic trees planted. Though from reports, many of the trees are still standing, some also failed or died from improper nurturing. The choice of site or location for the planting of some of the 2021 trees may be a contributory factor for their underdevelopment. Aside that, the loss of interest in nurturing the seedlings, the lack of monitoring system killed them. It's phase 2 of the tree planting exercise, and the Eastern region has begun a pilot program with the introduction of an app to monitor the progress of the trees in real time. Bokrom in the Nsawam Edredri municipality is the beneficiary town of this new technology.
Na wankasa hweso akopem sene ebenyin na wo hweso na se enyia obeba na wa be de wa be ma wa hod Inti se bokum fu ya start edikan na se ye dia mampanyin kra hu a nani be den nani beji na nani agi bokum.
From the day of planting, the app enables forest owners to collect data, monitor, track plant growth, and capture aerial views of the landscapes to track the changes of their degraded lands. The app also helps to estimate if the plants are developing properly and detect early infections or pests that may attack it. The Plant Genetic Resource Research Institute of the CSIR is assisting with the education drive on the benefits of trees and the new technology.
Yeah. Now you're who kama. Na odi ayeden. Odi ashe amelanu. Na wine gentle. Akaneti na ayeden. Eguhu. Come. Now we are where they
very good idea.
Na wamia say kama.
The Eastern Regional Minister, Mr. Seth Echampon, is upbeat. This new technology will complement government's efforts and assist the region regain her resilience when replicated in other towns.
Climate change is an ongoing fight which is in progress. I call it work in progress. We can't just complete it overnight with our narrative. We just have to keep on being innovative with our strategies so that our people would also see the pathway we want to lead them. It hasn't been easy, and it won't be easy because man must survive, and our people believe in survival.
Nature for climate, and if not us, then who? Developed the technology being piloted at Workroom to track trees planted to contribute to Ghana's nature-based climate change adaptation strategy. The bold step by governments to reclaim degraded mine-out sites and deforested areas can become successful with active citizen participation and partnerships with the private sector for knowledge sharing. Visit Your Tree was an initiative introduced along the line by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to afford persons who planted trees on the Green Ghana Day a visit to their planting site to check on the welfare of the trees. But how easier and effective would it be if people could easily monitor the progress of these trees remotely from their phones rather than constantly visiting it in person? For GBC News, Clara Mlano reporting.
And so from the Eastern region, we take you to Sunyai as ahead of tomorrow's tree planting exercise. Our Bono regional correspondent, John Sam Arthur, has visited the regional office of the Forestry Commission to gauge preparations towards the day.
Second edition of the Green Ghana Day is right upon us, set for Friday, the 10th of June. This program is basically to help reforest Ghana and also fight climate change, as well as inculcate in the youth the importance of trees and tree planting. Welcome to GBC News.
Thank you.
What can you tell us about preparations towards this important exercise?
Yes, Green Ghana Day is upon us this Friday, 10th of June, and we are very much prepared. We have made a lot of seedlings. We have got some from people who were contracted to produce the seedlings, and everything is ready, very much set for people to come and pick them. Actually, people are picking them, picking the seedlings. So first, we had all this place covered up, but it's all been picked up.
Great.
And
so
distributed.
What are the targets for our region, the Bono region?
The Bono region was given a target of 1.2 million seedlings, and at the regional office alone, we have put it upon ourselves to plant more than 200,000, and we've distributed the others to our 2 forest districts. Okay. So we hope that by the end of the 10th of June, we would have planted more than 1.2 million seedlings.
I mean, in Diano, we are then it's me fine say.
Diano, na epe yasi, inti ya wate Diano, copying temwa in Shotoe, and
I see. Okay. Did you see some time do you account?
You better do you account.
I see.
Until free channel con cry, bit my quagin and never be near the account.
The Ebi say Indiana Mudia, no.
I'm ba obesebi. Until ma a kakra, lay 100, until at least a cabe 80.
Thank you, John Sam Arthur. And still on the Green Ghana Day, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Abujinapo, says at least 20 million trees will be planted on Friday as part of the country's efforts at restoring lost vegetation cover and contribute to global climate action. The minister was in Parliament to update the House on preparations so far.
We planted over 7 million trees, exceeding our target of 5 million trees. Reports from the Forestry Commission indicate that 80% of these trees have survived and are doing very well. This year, Mr. Speaker, our commitment is to plant at least 20 million trees across the country on June 10, 2022, the Green Ghana Day. Based on lessons from the maiden edition, we have adopted a two-pronged strategy to achieve this target. The first is to plant 10 million seedlings in degraded forest reserves in compartments. We encourage corporate Ghana and other organizations to adopt forest compartments for planting, and we will brand them. The remaining 10 million seedlings will be planted outside forest reserves, particularly around farms, degraded watershed areas, boundaries, office compounds, and sites within communities, including parks, roadsides, homes, churches, mosques, and schools. We have allocated to each of the 16 regions planting targets, and seedlings can be found at the offices of the Forestry Commission and district assemblies, as well as other public places.
We are taking part on that one. We are not sitting on Friday. Members are supposed to lead their constituents in their constituencies to undertake this all-important national assignment.
And the still news are live on GBC News and GTV. The Techiman Municipal Assembly, in collaboration with the Techiman Municipal Directorate of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, has begun distribution of 26,000 polyclonal cashew seedlings to farmers in the area free of charge. The initiative, which is under the government's Planting for Export and Rural Development Program, aims to boost cashew production in the area.
Since the inception of the Planting for Export and Rural Development in 2018, more than 10,000 acres of farmlands in the Techiman municipality have been cultivated with over 400,000 seedlings. This is to widen the cashew value chain in the municipality and the country at large. The Techiman Municipal Director of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Mr. James Edu, said the polyclonal cashew seedlings have high yielding capacity.
What we are coming to distribute is a polyclonal seedlings. For this, by 3 years, you should start harvesting.
Some of the beneficiary farmers commended the government for the gesture. Aside the benefits of providing diversified the municipal chief executive for Techiman, Mr. Benjamin Jakun, said the Planting for Export and Rural Development Program will link agriculture to industry through the provision of raw materials for industrialization, develop rural economies and structural transformation of the national economy.
Government through the Assembly will continue to provide these seedlings every year, and they will continue to provide them with the extension services and all the needed support.
The municipal chief executive spoke about the provision of ready market for cashew nuts.
Ready market is assured. That is why under the Tree Crop Authority, last year they came out with a minimum price for this cashew production.
Meanwhile, the Techiman Municipal Assembly has taken delivery of 25,000 bags of 25 kilograms subsidized fertilizer. Farmers have therefore been asked to visit the retail shops of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture with their Ghana cards or voter ID to register and buy the fertilizer. A bag of subsidized fertilizer sells at 160 Ghana cedis.
A 5-year community-led restoration project to provide ecological services required to mitigate the impacts of climate change has been launched at Akumadan in the Ofenso North District of the Ashanti region. The project, spearheaded by EcoCare Ghana, an advocacy organization, will introduce plans for tree management in beneficiary communities.
The project is part of the African Forest Landscape Restoration Initiative, which seeks to restore 100 million hectares of land by 2030 and to restore about 10,000 hectares of degraded and deforested farmlands and fallow lands. It is being implemented in 5 communities in the Ofenso North and South districts of the Ashanti region and Techiman South municipality in the Bono East region. The Bonsiahining of Ofenso traditional area, Nana Kweku Amankwa, reiterated the commitment of traditional rulers in the area towards the project. The Bono East Regional Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, Mr. Anthony Edu, said planting of trees will increase the quantum of leaf litter and reduce the amount of direct sunlight on the soil.
Through tree planting and other things will seem to address global environmental challenges and issues that confront us this like climate change.
The project team leader of EcoCare, Mr. Obed Owusu Adai, said 3,000 indigenous tree species will be planted under the project.
We are concentrating on the indigenous trees that used to be here that we cannot find them anymore.
The district chief executive for Ofenso North, Mr. David Kwesibuachi Asari, commended the leadership of EcoCare Ghana for the initiative. Tree seedlings will be planted in the first 3 years of the 5-year project, and the next 2 years will be devoted for maintenance and care of the plants.
The Ashanti Regional Police Command says 2 armed robbers who were arrested by the police in Kumasi in the Ashanti region have been sentenced to 20 years imprisonment each for robbery. The 2, Emeka Opara and Samuel Kalo, were arrested on May 30, 2022. Attack on a victim at the Abreport Junction branch of EcoBank. They succeeded in bolting with a bag containing an amount of 30,000 Ghana cedis, but the police were able to retrieve the said amount from them. According to the police service, because the 2 have been duly convicted and are no longer suspects, their images have been displayed in line with the new police service standard operating procedure. The police is also urging any person who can recognize any of the 2 armed robbers in connection with other crimes to contact the nearest police station for further action. One person was burnt to death on Wednesday afternoon at Nakom in Boko along the Pusiga Widana Road. The deceased was said to be driving from Boko to Pusiga area when he was confronted by some unknown gunmen. 2 females who were on board the vehicle were made to alight and chased away, after which they set the vehicle ablaze and burnt the driver to death. The military has since conveyed the body from the scene. Though calm has returned to the town, the incident has left commuters of the road in fear. Rather sad development. This is where we take a break. We will be back shortly. Please stay with us. Good afternoon and welcome. Time now for the business segment, and I am Dorothy Ajamine. Small and medium enterprises MSME cluster development has been identified as a key component for industrial growth in Ghana. At the UNIDO Cluster Development Conference here in Accra, the Chief Director at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Mr. Patrick Nimo, said cluster development in the private sector provides a platform for entrepreneurs to compete favorably on the international market.
Cluster develops competitive advantage for the firms. SMEs in a cluster are able to achieve the higher level of competitiveness that are beyond the potential reach of individual firms and thereby creating competitive advantages for them. At the UNIDO Cluster Development Forum in Accra, the UNIDO representative, Fahrudin Azizi, UNIDO is promoting this concept to support SMEs to identify their niche and work together as entities to be competitive in domestic and international trade.
Despite the fact that Ghana is rapidly urbanizing, there is a limited agglomeration of MSMEs coupled with major issues of uncoordinated informal sector growth. The adoption of modern technologies could support, upgrade, and spur innovation. Agro-based clusters have become one of the new tools for agro-industries and institutions to build value network when addressing common challenges and pursuing common opportunities.
The Chief Executive of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Dr. Efua Sabiasari, said the authority provides training to SMEs using the GEPA Market Hub. The hub is to build synergies between entrepreneurs and regulatory organizations in the export sector. Director at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Mr. Patrick Nimo, called on SMEs to build clusters but maintain their property and intellectual rights in the clusters.
The trade agreements we sign, the EPA, the AFCFTA, can only be successful if we can empower the private sector and Ghanaian businesses especially to harness those benefits of market access opportunities.
The Chief Executive of the AGI, Mr. Sechuma Kwabwa, said the industrial sector can cut down costs by leveraging on their clusters to access resources at cheaper costs.
As part of the three key components, innovation, creativity and entrepreneurship, ICE, apprenticeship to entrepreneurship, A2E, and MSME acceleration, the Ghana Enterprises Agency has assisted over 29,000 young people to have access to dignified and fulfilling jobs. This forms part of the partnership with the MasterCard Foundation Young Africa Works project to provide support for MSMEs to prepare them to start their own business.
For a year, they have trained most of you. Some of you in dressmaking, some of you in hairdressing, welding, baking, so many different crafts. And I'm happy that the President's vision of creating employment for the youth of this nation is being realized. My goal is that in the next few years, more of you would have benefited. More of you would have created jobs for yourselves and also for the youth in your own communities. For Ghana Enterprises, the focus of our work is the Ghanaian youth. It doesn't matter where you are coming from or who you are. Our goal and our intention is to make sure that all the young men and women of this nation have access to a skill, a job, and the tools to grow their business. Our partnership with the MasterCard Foundation has been very beneficial to a lot of Ghanaian youth. The goal was to spread the intervention across the entire nation. Most of the times when we open the portals, a lot of people do not apply. But Savannah region never fails us. Every time you show up in your numbers and you apply. And we did this digitization platform for a reason, so that we could get more people outside of Accra or Kumasi or Tamale to benefit from the programs that we have.
You're still watching the business segment of News Hour. The 2021 World Bank Ghana Trade and Competitiveness Report has been launched in Accra. The report focuses on how Ghana can leverage trade policy to accelerate export diversification and economic transformation.
The report examines two different but complementary pathways that could be leveraged to achieve economic transformation, namely manufacturing-led exports and services-led exports. The case of East Asia has often been cited as an example of how manufacturing-led exports contributed to economic transformation and growth in that region.
A diagnosis of our level of competitiveness regarding findings is a wake-up call. Trade policy, trade-related infrastructure, trade facilitation, productive capacity, trade finance, and free movement of persons remain at the heart of government's industrial transformation agenda. And this book contributes immensely to our best efforts so far. The book puts policy prescriptions for strengthening Ghana's competitiveness at the heart of the African Continental Free Trade Area, and rightly so. The AFCFTA offers member states the biggest stimulus to move away from raw material exports to value addition, to industrialize and build regional and continental value chains.
And that's it for the business segment. You have more news coming up after this break. Please do stay.